All right. Levels look good. Video looks good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the playground. I'm Pixie Phoenix. I'm a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch. Tonight is Monday night. As usual, we have our Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night session 62.
Yeah, we're on 62 now.
Yeah. So
Jeebus.
we're waiting on our Martha to join us, but as always, we love hearing from you guys in the chat. How was your weekend? What did you get up to? As for myself and Zack, we had the pleasure of volunteering for Extra Life over the weekend at Classic Games Fest here in Austin. Super fun time, and we raised $1,000 for Extra Life. So
Nice.
$3 short of $1,000.
okay.
997.
You couldn't pitch in the $3 yourself, dude.
We
Couldn't just
weren't
throw
on
it
the
in
last
there?
shift. If we were on the last
Well,
shift, but
Technically, if they wanted, we both pitched $5 to our own pages, which doesn't count for what we earned.
that's true because it went to
got
our
it.
page and not the group page. So
But it's
technically,
still,
they get.
but
yeah.
it still goes to Dell Children's Hospital. So technically, with the $10 we pitched, we were over 1,000. It just went to our pages instead of the Austin Guild page, like everyone else was doing at the con.
Nice.
It was a good time, and it was fun to hit up a convention that was a little different. Like, we tend to do a lot of the anime and comic book type stuff, but to get to go and see some of the old tech and artists,
they were
making so much merchandise for vintage games.
You could walk the merchant dial, and there were so many like old like Nintendos and Ataris and Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis. They were just like sitting like stacks of them, just sitting on tables. Like I've never seen so many like classic consoles just like sitting on tables, just like, and people were buying them up.
Maybe someone out there has to explain this one to me. They were selling
the
boxes,
Oh,
the empty boxes
from
for
consoles.
old systems.
People want them
And
to
people
display.
were buying them. Like, yeah, I guess, but like there was a lot of people walking around with just
And these
empty
weren't like the
boxes
best of
for,
condition either. I mean,
Yeah,
some of these
I
were
mean-
beat up.
I mean, so I don't know if you've ever noticed, like a lot of streamers have in their background will have boxes or old promo stuff or stuff like that that's taking up their background. That's what it is. It's taking up their background. That's what it is. That's literally all it is. It's in some cases those are just empty boxes. Some things that you like. I mean, there's no way you're gonna get an original in-box Atari 2600 in good condition. So the closest you can hope for is that somebody maybe just has just the box, and you can find the Atari separately.
And I guess that's the thing, because there were a lot of people walking around with just the empty boxes for consoles that they paid, good money for. So it's
Also,
definitely a thing.
There's also not an insignificant number of people out there who like to get those kind of things to play pranks on people. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen.
There's a
Send
lot of
Christmas-
memes for that.
Open a Christmas gift. Oh my God, it's an Atari. No, it's a brick in a box.
Let's see. I think, we pretty much just did con and came home and like tried to relax. And like, even though I felt like I walked more and did more the weekend of OkashiCon, my legs are way more sore today. I have no clue.
That's a little weird.
Ugh. Yeah. But I came away with really cool goodie. Got a boo. These were they were doing a scavenger hunt for people at the con, and of course, we really couldn't take the time away from our booth to do that ourselves, but we participated as some of the people hiding some of the things that they were looking for. And if you found one of the items, took it back to the booth, you got to pick out like a Nintendo plushie. And I'm sitting there staring at the booths like, oh, I want one, I want one. They were nice enough to come by the booths that participated and let everybody have plushie. My freebie, a good freebie. I have my boo.
So, do we want to do a discussion about
Our
what's going?
preliminary planning.
Yes.
Okay, definitely. So, I've mentioned it a little in passing here and there, but the weekend of August 19th through 21st is Extra Life Tabletop Appreciation Weekend. So I've talked Knox here into doing a extended one shot, maybe about 10 to 12 hours of game time on stream. And yeah, so we're looking for participants. We've narrowed it down to two game choices that once our participants have said, yeah, hey, I want to be involved, um, I'll let Knox kind of explain our choices.
So we were thinking in terms of the types of games that we would want to do for basically a day long one shot. They needed to be something that was going to have the potential to last that long. I.e., games like Mothership and Workborg are almost immediately off the table because if I kill you in the first hour, we're going to be sitting here for a really long time. But it meant that we needed to pick something that could last the length of a day, that had a story that we could basically craft for a solid 8 to 10 hours. And the other part about that is we wanted to do something that was a little different from what we've already done here on stream. We've done, we're on session 62 of Vampire the Masquerade. We're probably about 2/3 of the way through our Mothership campaign for that module. So instead, the idea came up, well, why don't instead, if we want to do something that's in the world of darkness, why don't we flip it on its head and do Hunter? Since Hunter 5th edition just released, it'd be an opportunity for, instead of being the monster, so to speak, it'd be an opportunity to hunt the monsters. I thought that was a really interesting thing, particularly because we wouldn't necessarily even have to set it in Philadelphia. We could do Hunter in basically almost anywhere from New York to LA, Houston to Montana, if we really wanted to. There's any number of different ways to craft those stories. The other side of that was something that was maybe more lighthearted, maybe a little more fantastical, maybe a little bit more exploratory, which would be the Wild Sea. I'm a backer for it. I have been trying to get a group together for the Wild Sea. I think the setting is goddamn brilliant, and I think that there's a really, really interesting story to be told there. So there it is. Those are the kind of either the daylight hours version of Vampire the Masquerade, or or something completely fantastical and different on a sea of green. So if you're interested, please get in touch with either myself or with Al, and I will let her get back to explaining exactly how we're going to pull this off.
Yeah, so the hope is that once we get, I'm hoping at least 3 people. Once we get some concrete
Three
participants,
three people including you, or 3 people excluding you?
I think 4 at a minimum is gonna give us the best playability, but whatever you as storyteller want to handle. Um, uh, and once we have those participants, we as a group will discern: do we want to do Hunter? Do we want to do Wild Sea? And then the goal is to have a get together, hopefully by the 6th, and do a session 0 so that we all have a chance to read through the book, to get an idea of what character creation is like. We obviously don't have to stream that. That can just be a night that, we're all chilling and hanging out and hashing that out, those details out. And then that way, come game day, which we decided to go with the 20th, which is a Saturday, and just do an extended stream that day. And so, yeah, that's kind of the plan. And I'm looking for volunteers, you guys. I will be messaging some of you personally that I know have said you have a history of role playing or are interested in getting into it. So look out for some messages from me.
So I just because I want to clarify on something that Pick said, um, we are what we want to do is we want to nail down our players and the game by the 6th.
But
So
okay,
that way,
bye. Sorry.
so there's 2 weeks. Books can go. We can put the books out. We can do um, get everybody reading them, get the session 0 done. So that way everybody's got a little bit of time to kind of get their character in their head and realize the setting that we're going to be doing. So that way when we hit it on the day of, then everybody is good to go and we don't have to do any setup. There's not going to
Right.
be a whole lot of um, kind
And
of
we can also, to mention, we can get people materials. So that is not on you to handle going and buying books or PDFs or whatever. That is on us, and we will take care of that and get you the source materials so that.
Um, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
My computer is glitching out really, really bad. Like, I think I'm gonna need to restart, but it's not responding at all, and I can't unmute. So, I don't know what to do.
Ooh. Yeah, do what you need to do, babe.
I'll say. This is what my computer looks like. I'm gonna take
Oh
a
no.
picture and send it.
Oh no. Oh, I see Vancouver in the chat. How are you? Oh.
Yeah, okay. I just put it in group chat, but I think I'm gonna have to hard reboot my
Yeah.
computer. And it looks like my video card just like
Ooh, yeah.
shit all over itself.
Oh.
that's not good.
Good luck with that. Well, we're gonna
Bye.
hang out with chat for a while. You do that. So who else is lurking out there? You guys know we love hearing from you. Waiting on Martha. Be here shortly. Or Zack. Hoping we don't have to update something.
The oh, there's
Ooh. E-
we're gonna see if Martha wants in on this.
Right?
I guess this would be while we're waiting for everybody to get their computers kind of lined up. I guess if you need to do any XP spending, this would be the time to do it.
Ugh, yeah, I had all intention of doing that on the weekend, not realizing my weekend. And moment I was like, shit, get anything I wanted done. Hey, Smooth, how you doing? We are well. We're just a little worn from a long weekend, but doing good. Zach's having to do a restart And we just lost Martha. So we're trying to get the technical difficulties ironed out. How was your weekend? How are you doing? Yeah. What was the ability to obfuscate from cameras? That's just like the next level up, right? For Sense the Unseen, or is that a separate ability?
Ghost in the Machine.
Ghost in the Machine. Okay. How many points would I need for that?
So Ghost in the Machine is a level 3 obfuscation ability, but I believe you already have 3 points in it.
Is not on my list.
So you would need you only have 2. So you would need to spend
Yes. Okay.
it's gonna be that night, isn't it?
I have to refresh.
I had to put another point in Auspex.
No, you need you need to put another point in obfuscation.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong one.
You don't. You only have 2 points in obfuscation. You don't have 3.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys actually like on video right now?
Yep.
Yes.
Shit. Okay, I can't see it.
It's you.
We can see you, and
Okay.
we can also hear you.
Well, that works great.
You have there. That is a. 1 second. I need to look at my cheat sheet here. I am sure that is.
Smooth says he got a sale today, so it's a decent day. Smooth works on commission, so sales are good.
So obfuscate is an in clan power for Malkavian. So I believe it's 5 per.
Oh, I would love to level up, but I do not have my book with me.
Yeah, so it's 5 per. You have enough points to do that.
Okay, so put the 1 point in obfuscation.
And then you want to get Ghost in the Machine.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Crystal. I'm so sorry. We'll get you back to normal.
Okay, so do you need to know how it works? You want me to tell you how it works?
That or I've been putting little cheats in the details.
Okay, so the easiest way to explain it is that when you are obfuscated, so when you're already using one of your obfuscation,
Okay.
it now will transmit through electronic means. So unlike previously, where if you obfuscated and somebody had a camera there, you'd still show up on camera. Now you show up basically as like a smudge or a distortion. It doesn't completely mask you. It just makes it so that you cannot be seen.
That look appropriate?
Also, while you are using, now here's maybe a downside. While you are obfuscated, using your obfuscation powers now, technology can and will glitch around you.
Even if I'm just trying to like Google search something on my laptop?
Mm-hmm.
I have so many points in tech.
No hiding.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
I don't think that's a good trade-off.
Kill it with
Yeah,
fire. Kill
yeah.
it with
I
fire.
muted it on my end. Oof. Pardon the technical difficulties, everybody. Oh, awful.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, I don't. Shit. I don't know that this is. I don't like that.
Now keep in mind, it's only while you're obfuscated.
Okay, so if I'm like not obfuscated, I can do whatever I want. I'm fine.
So okay, so here is an easy way to think about it. If you sneak to the computer and you try to stay cloaked, you're gonna fuck with the computer if you try to use it. But if you come out of obfuscation to use the computer or your phone, then you're fine. But if you try to use
But
anything,
that still kind of defeats the point. Like if I have to sneak into someone's office to use their computer and I'm trying to do it stealthily. Hmm. Is there any cool Bahari stuff I could spend XP on?
no, you bought all the cool Bahari stuff.
How much XP? So I don't have my book on me.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't.
You don't sound sold on this.
Yeah. Doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel in character or doesn't feel useful.
Kind of both.
Fair.
Now I'm wondering, based on the stuff I've already got, what might be the best next thing. Any suggestions, Storyteller?
I mean, I have often said that the easiest place to pick up additional die for your character has always been in skills.
I was thinking
See if I can actually look at my character sheet now.
that. I mean, I still think if at 5 points, because I had 24 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at 5 points, it's still smart to put the extra pip in the obfuscate.
I mean, yeah,
I've
if for
got
no
3 and everything else, well, except blood sorcery. But yeah.
well, so here's the kind of cool thing for you, because you already have 3 points in Auspex. You have an amalgamation power available to you for level 4 obfuscation. There is a power called Conceal that comes up at level 4 obfuscation, but you have to have level 3 Auspex in order to get there. The ability allows the user to cloak an inanimate object such as a door, a car, or a small house.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
As with other obfuscate powers, this does not actually make the object invisible, but creates a lingering hypnotic effect that causes most people to simply ignore it. In this case, the power is especially effective given that the object is unlikely to call attention to itself unless something physically collides into it. People behave as if it just wasn't there.
I like that. But I have to put, I already had 3 in Auspex and 3 in Dominate. So
Obfuscation.
we put a 4th there.
So if you put you don't have enough points for a 4th point in obfuscation.
Oh, I don't. Okay. You have to take it out then. I clicked it. Okay. So I have to.
You've got 3 points right now. You could save to get your 4th point in obfuscation, or you could get a couple skills.
I'll save for the point. We'll get rid of Ghost in the Machine, and we'll wait for.
Now you have to have a level 3 obfuscation in order to get to level 4.
Right. So I'm leaving the 3rd pip in there. That was only 5 points, right?
No, it was 15 points.
Oh, 15. Okay, you said 5, so I thought I had a lot more.
No. It's 15 points.
Okay. Yeah, that works. That's fine. We'll save the rest for that. 3 and 3. That's good. That'll at least help with the rolls. Oh, oh, are we getting the gang together?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hey, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back.
Right, that's 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, I switched over to Chrome
Look up
to
them
check
error.
on Twitch for a second. It's like as soon as I did it, like everything just crashed. Like I was like, holy crap. Oh, then what I did was I switched into mod view. And for some reason, as soon as I went into mod view or opened up the mod view tab, that like broke everything.
Damn you, Twitch.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having so many different issues.
It's okay. You're not the only one. I'm just getting in and getting settled myself. Shit was not going for me.
Yeah, I'm having issues. Having hard issues.
What's
Yeah, now
going
your video died.
I swear we'll get it figured out. I swear.
Remember we were talking about national days. Today is National Technical Difficulty Day. That's what's going on.
That somehow does not surprise me at all.
I was telling Pixie like I think it's dumb that like articles like only post about like national whatever days like the day of instead of like the day before, like 2 days before, so you can actually plan something and go do something. It's like free. It's like National Donut Day, and like all these places are giving out free donuts, and you go, you find out at 8 p.m. When you're scrolling through your news feed, and you're like, well, why didn't you fucking tell me this yesterday?
Yeah, that happened on National Ice Cream Day. We found out, and it was like already like 5:30 or some shit. And we were like,
it's like,
damn
God damn it! Today was National Ice Cream Day, and here's all the places that were giving out free ice cream. Well, motherfucker. Sometimes it's like, why don't these articles like publish it like a day or two in advance so people can plan ahead and then go out and get all the free shit.
Let's see if I can open my character sheet without turning off the.
Oh.
I haven't tried that yet. Let me try that.
Nope, can't do that.
Character sheet.
Okay, the rerolls work, so.
Oh, okay. Character sheet works.
Just to let you guys know, pre-rolls are on. If you want to avoid those ads, you can always subscribe. You'll get some cool emotes. And of course, if you have Amazon Prime, you can link that to your Twitch account, and you'll get a free sub a month to use on anybody you like.
Ooh, just got a raid.
We got a raid from Random. Awesome. How was your stream? How's it going? Let's get a shout out. What were we playing? Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. We love our D&D here. Welcome everybody, Raiders. I'm Pixie Phoenix. I'm a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch. Tonight you're joining us for Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night 5th edition. We are having a few technical difficulties, so bear with us, please. We've already had one computer crash, and Martha is in and out, so.
Luckily, we recovered from the computer crash, so
That part's figured out.
Hopefully.
How are you all? How was your weekend? Let us know if you're fans of Vampire. If this is content you tend to frequent too.
So I guess we could also, continue while we're waiting to discuss what we're. So let's theoretically say I've already got an idea if we do end up doing the wild seed, but if we ended up doing Hunter, what would be the kind of setting that sounds interesting to you?
As far as like a location, a city.
Sure. Well, not even just necessarily that, because you have to think that the way. So, like a great example of this is for those of you who have played Shadows of New York, Coteries of New York, or who are watching New York by Night. You see that the way that the city is much different than say LA by Night.
That's true.
So as a result, having not just a different, even though you have two, like using those as a great kind of dichotomy, New York versus LA, even though they're the two biggest cities basically in the world, at least in terms of recognition and things like that, vast cultural differences in terms of the kindred there. And that's going to be the same thing with regard to doing like Hunter, like the way the setup and the people and the tone of the game is going to be way different in something like say Las Vegas than it's going to be in New Orleans. Right. It's going to be way different in Dallas than it would be in Cleveland.
I have a weird kind of idea, and this just may just be me. It doesn't have to take place in Philadelphia, but maybe the Hunters are somehow canon into our VTM game, and we will see them later. Like maybe this is like the origin story of these Hunters, that we're gonna have to later deal with. I don't know. Just kind of throwing shit out there, but
I that's certainly that is certainly an idea if people want to do that and want to later and that would be kind of a cool thing is to realize that at some point your player character will be an NPC that ends up in some way, shape, or form
trying to kill you.
The cast runs into. On the flip side of that, if you'd rather not deal with Philadelphia at all, I mean, there's any number of different ways to do it. Like
I said, it doesn't have to be Philadelphia, but maybe they end up like after our one shot coming to Philadelphia or something. We end up running into them, or something. Like I said, the one shot I don't think necessarily has to happen in Philadelphia, but I think it would be kind of neat for it to be a tie-in if that's possible.
Well, and the other thing is that keep in mind that the settings, like the type of feel that you're going to get is going to be like, for instance, if the players decide that they want to do like a big city, Philadelphia, Chicago, whatever, that's going to feel way different than somebody who chooses. Something just like, for instance, something like, to use another town in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, which has a population of 50,000 people.
Right.
It's still metropolitan, but it's not nearly as big, which means that the hunting pool is much smaller. That gets even smaller if you choose to do something like like just to use a location instead of a city, the string of small towns that runs from basically between, like, say, Elko, Nevada, and Reno. There's a lot of real small towns that are out there where the population is 50 or 100 people, and they're all very insular.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of weird stuff that can happen when you've got a lot of very, very small
Mm.
fishing pools that are not innately connected. People get angry, people get, hostile about, rival towns, small town mentality, but everybody knows everybody else's secret in those small towns. So it becomes one of those things where, in some cases, particularly um, with supernatural horror like this, shrinking the playing field sometimes can make the predator feel much, much, much more dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know, chat. Like, if anybody wants to pipe in and give us some suggestions, um, for those of you guys just joining us, you Raiders, welcome, welcome again. So I am a participant in Extra Life, and next month is their tabletop appreciation weekend. So Knox and I are organizing a 8 to 10 hour one shot on August 20th, and we're looking for players. And our two games that we've kind of decided to throw in the mix are either Hunter, which is a flip on Vampire the Masquerade, and then also Wild Sea if we want to play pirates. So I'm looking for players, and we're going to have to get things going fairly quickly. Set up a session 0 where we can all get together roundtable style and online, of course. Hash out our characters and gameplay. That way, when we come to the table on the 20th, we're ready to go. So, yeah, I want some new people, some fresh blood. So you can always message me here on Twitch through Whisper. I always see those, or feel free to join my Discord. How are we doing with our technical difficulties?
Yeah, and I don't mean for my like Hunter, my explanation to like sway things one way or the other. Like
Oh
I'm
no.
totally fine playing Wild Sea too. I just thought it was good. It would be neat that if we do something Hunter, that we somehow be able to tie it into our vampire game. I thought that would be kind of fun, but I'm totally fine with playing Wild Sea or whatever else we decide to play.
Wait, I do see your point, and I do see the potential because then those people that joined for the one shot,
Could see their characters and then could give
do
it
a
to
guest
them
spot.
later.
They have a
Right.
free
Yeah.
Monday night. They want to pop in. They organize that
Yeah.
with Knox. I could see that potential,
Yep.
but again, I just want something that everybody feels like they're getting what they want out of a game. And so if that leans toward what Hunter has to offer, great. If it leans toward Wild Sea and the pirate world and that kind of aspect, so be it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm okay either way too.
So let's get started.
Heck
Welcome,
yeah.
welcome everybody to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle Philly by Night. We're on session 62. So let's do a really brief recap because I am way behind on recaps.
Mm-hmm.
When we left off, our coterie had headed into the northeast to investigate and see what was really going on there. Heading to Guilt, the coterie ran into, well, let me narrow that a bit. Al ran into Lisa, the librarian, and had a bit of a terse conversation with Lisa regarding Ruby and the situation with the Thin Bloods. After the Northeast Anarchs left, the coterie had a meeting with Sabine, who explained why things are growing ever more tense in the Northeast, with the Northeast Anarchs now basically taking over large amounts of Sabine's supply that she's receiving from the circulatory system. And with the policies that Reese is implementing, forcing the thin bloods and kindred of the city to hunt elsewhere, often at very drastic risk of their own lives. In the middle of all of this, Alice had a vision of Cyrus being hunted at the creepy warehouses, as they have been deemed by the coterie. Realizing that they needed to do something about that, but not having enough moonlight in the sky, they headed home, where Moira got to see the security video of our little orphan Annie breaking into Al's apartment and leaving a gift. So, with all of that said, it is a slightly cooler, although certainly no less humid, evening in Philadelphia. Temperatures, both human and otherwise, are running high. And the streets of Philadelphia are full of people who are on edge, who are tired of the heat, who are snapping and snarling at one another, taking out their frustrations due to the unending thickness of the air. As the sun dips, Alice, how do you start your evening? With the sun still creeping along.
I guess I'm making it a point to figure out more about Annie at this point.
So if you were going to investigate Annie, what would you do?
I'm blanking right now, but have we determined if she's like Malk, Nos, Premier?
No. In fact,
Okay.
one of the discussions that you guys had was who or what she could possibly be because of her use of obfuscation powers. But the number of different clans that have access to obfuscation,
Right.
in addition to the fact that it's a fairly common ability or common power set, means that it's very, very difficult to kind of lock down exactly who she is.
Do we have we figured out which of our Nos connections are still around?
You have not. You have not heard from any of them. From Brittany was not in the club. She hasn't been found.
And the wall is really our only connection, and she's in pieces right now.
Mm-hmm. You haven't heard from Sunny. You haven't heard from, well, for obvious reasons, you haven't heard from Gigi. In fact, the only Nos that you have actually seen recently has been Genevieve.
Hmm. And my goal here is to be able to share the footage with someone and see if they can give me more information on her or find more information. Like, I imagine I could try to use my tech skill to some degree, but
You'd
like,
have to be you'd have to be specific on what exactly you were trying to use
exactly.
your tech skills.
And other than figuring out more about her identity, and that would be the goal.
I would say that with that, you're missing some pretty significant starting points to even begin to
Yeah.
try to do any sort of online search for her. So that's probably not your best choice.
Yeah.
Alternatively, there are always people in the city that you could go ask.
That was my next thought.
It's just a matter of whose door you want to darken and what you're going to do once you're there.
Well, I already tried speaking with Uriel, and we know she wasn't much help. Do I have any hacker? I don't think we have, other than our NOS friends, I don't think we have anybody that's really skilled.
The only one that really was in your circle um, would have been Sunny.
Yeah. Maybe that should be my goal. One not looking for Sunny.
It is certainly a place to start.
Yeah. I think that's where I'm going to start my evening.
Okay, so you're going to wake up and you're going to actually start to head like towards this in the direction of the subways.
Well, no, I think at this point, like, I would start, like, getting myself ready to go, but still waiting for everyone else to wake up just to let them know where I'm going. If anyone else has errands to run, we can,
She's
that
just
kind of
saying. She's just saying that
I'm
she
making
knows
my
where
game
she's
plan.
going tonight. Yeah.
Got it. All right then, Vic. As the sun descends below the horizon and you start to wake, what are your first actions? What are you doing?
I guess I'm heading out to. I don't think there's a whole lot else for me to do at the apartment, so I think I would just be heading to the club, making sure everything's taken care of there, and then for my night, I was trying to see if I could head to the Dissolved Girl and at least start, get things started over there as far as seeing what I need to do to start working over there, and
Okay, so your intention is to head to the Dissolved Girl tonight.
Yeah, eventually, yeah, but heading to the club first just to make sure everything's taken care of there and check in on everyone else.
All right, Mr. Starwell, as you awaken with Westy nearby, what is your first set of actions? What are you doing this evening?
Definitely checking messages, seeing if any of our allies or previous allies have like responded to us.
Nothing. Haven't heard a single word from anybody.
I would like to reach out to Threnody, see if she responds.
When you go to make the phone call, the number comes up as immediately disconnected. I would have done the robotic version of the voice of your call cannot be completed.
This number is no longer in service.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go for a bit of a wander, swing by 10 Toes on the way to Serenity's area, see if I can like catch somebody, and then I'd like to head over to Carmine's.
Okay, so everybody is heading to their own location this evening. This will be fun.
Ooh, a little challenge.
All right, so here's the first question. Are you all getting together beforehand to discuss this with everybody?
That was my
like
goal.
I said, I was going to the club to meet with everyone before I had.
I think more like go back to like meeting up in the conference room.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure the front door was covered before I left. Like if it wasn't covered, I would definitely have to stay. So.
I think we just need to keep some of these like interpersonal communications away from our non like kindred employees.
Oh, definitely.
A little bit more. especially since especially the most human one was like, keep me the fuck out of it. So like maybe some of
Yeah.
this discussion should be done at the apartment more so than anything else.
No, we can still do it in the office at the club.
I was gonna say you do have an office in the club.
True, but I would like also to use your bloodhound at the mirror door.
Okay, so we'll say you guys. So should we say that you guys end up meeting at the conference room in the apartments rather than in the club?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's fine for our meeting. I would still want to go down to the club and make sure.
Yeah. I
Right,
mean,
but
like,
we're talking about like a step down
Okay.
system. We're all
That's
waking
fine.
up.
That's fine.
We might as well have our
Okay.
meeting at the apartment
Okay.
and then
We
go
meet
over,
first, and then we go
check the
check the
bars,
club.
do
Okay.
the stuff,
Cool.
and we
Okay.
go.
So you guys meet up in the apartments. So what do you tell one another? What is the discussion here?
Well,
well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna assume you guys want to follow up on
Wait,
your.
hold on. Is Westy with you?
Yeah, Wesley's gonna be like my shadow for a minute.
Okay. Just want to just clarifying.
Since we haven't acclimated her to being a vamp quite yet, I would like to keep a close eye on her, especially considering like her unusual eating habits and the unknown of her capabilities right just yet.
Okay. So what do you tell one another about what your plans are for this evening?
well, I want to get some answers about this Annie ghost. And I know we haven't had much luck with our Nos friends, so I was thinking of going out and seeing if we can track down Sunny.
I think that's a good idea. I was worried about our other Anarch friends, and I was trying to go find Threnody, see if she's still okay, and see what's going on in the South End.
Okay.
How about you, Vic? Do you have personal stuff today? I know you've been meaning to go help out at the something girl.
Dissolve.
Yeah,
Solving.
that's the one. Vic.
Vic?
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? I
I
heard the dissolving girl. I'm sorry.
I said, Vic, you want to go? It seems like you've been trying to go over to the dissolving girl and take care of that for a while now. So
Yes.
I'm sure you want to go handle that today.
Yes. If possible. I'm gonna go down and check and make sure the door is covered and everything is okay down there. But if everything's covered, then yes, I would like to head to the dissolving girl.
So here is the question. We know that Michael is taking Westy. Vic, are you bringing anybody with you to the dissolved girl?
I don't think so. Unless Al, no, because Al's got her own plans. I was gonna say unless Al wanted to talk with the girl in coat check, but
I already did that as far as this is concerned.
So I don't think so. I think it's just me going to. I think it's just me. Me and myself and I.
Okay.
And Stubby.
And Stubby. Me, myself, and Stubby.
What about you, Al?
Hmm. I mean, I wouldn't mind having some company, but just who might be good for the job, I'm not sure. Screw it. I mean, I've got my gun, I've got my brass knucks, so.
I was gonna say Robin, so you could pull a Homer Simpson.
So...
Take them, not me.
Or you could take Lane.
She's probably gonna be needed on bar tonight.
Is Lane a ghoul?
Lane is a ghoul.
I mean, if we have the other dudes, they can take one each. Depends.
I think I'll wing this one. It's been a while since I've been out on a jaunt.
Okay, so just clarifying, both Vic and Al are heading out into the world on their own, as so far, and Mr. Starwell is heading out with Westy. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to go down the line. Vic, the meeting ends. Where do you head first? You said you wanted to head to the club. What were you going to do at the club?
I guess we need to figure out vehicle situations. Where's Al going?
I'm going to the sewers.
You're going to the sewers, and where's Michael going?
I'm going to the south. We
South.
have 2 cars right now, right?
We have 2. Yeah, we have 2 vehicles. That's what I was saying. So we need
One.
a 1. Yeah, we only have 1
One.
vehicle now. So
Yeah, Idaho took the hearse.
Hearse.
I thought we had the Charger and. Oh. Okay.
Wish.
So I'm okay. I don't think it really matters who takes the Charger. The other 2 of us are just gonna have to.
Well,
Uber
I'm sure
taxi.
it doesn't take me far to get to like an entry point to get down below. I mean,
Which one of us are
essentially,
going
I
the
could get to it.
furthest?
I
I'm
could
sorry.
I
take
mean,
the
Al, you
subway.
could just take the metro, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
subway,
could take the
Metro,
subway.
okay.
Like one of you guys could drop me off at the nearest station. So I'm
And
not
theoretically, I could drop you off at the Dissolved Girl.
Okay.
carpooling. Come on, carbon footprint.
Okay, so Vic, you head to the club. What are you doing at the club?
Our club.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking in with Romano and Jack and everyone at the door. Just making sure that everything is covered and that it would be okay for me to take a night off from here.
So when you get there, Harvey and Jack is not. Jack has not shown up yet. When you get there, there's a little bit of a line. It's not too much, but Harvey and Romano are a little on edge. The security camera footage of the apartment being broken into, combined with everything else that's happened of late, has them both a little, combined with the weather, which, well, it certainly doesn't bother Harvey at all. It's definitely making Romano a little snappy.
Mm-hmm.
When you go get up on them, there's definitely they're agitated is the cleanest way of saying it. There's definitely a sense of agitation, and Jack's absence is certainly not helping.
I assume we have a number for Jack.
Yes.
Has anyone tried texting him or calling him yet?
Romano, yeah, I mean, I tried. He's like, he says it rings, but he hasn't picked up yet. He's like, so I don't, he says, I don't know if he got skittish and he's skipping. He says, I don't know if he's just running late. He could just be running late tonight.
Do we have a mailing address for him?
He and Harvey look at one another and be like, we didn't hire him. We have no idea where he lives.
Okay. That was me that hired him. So would I have gotten a mailing address for him and his kid? And would that been a part of the normal job application that we
Well,
would
yeah,
have?
we make everybody fill out the standard bullshit form. Like, even if we don't run the background check, like, we should have all that on file.
Which would mean that Moira would likely have it if
Uh-huh.
nobody had it.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go check with Moira and see if I can figure out where he lives, and then see if I can go head over. Change your plans for my night. Apparently, I'm gonna go see if I can go where Jack lives and see if he needs any help or if he's in any sort of trouble, because it's not just him. He's got kids, and so I'm kind of trying to look out for him and his own.
So you're changing your plans entirely. You're now going to go look out and see if you can find Jack.
Flip in the script.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
how it happens.
Mr. Starwell,
Yes, sir.
after you guys get out of the meeting, what are you doing?
I'm going to be heading back down to the club as well.
Okay, so when you get to the club, what are you doing there? Are you looking for something specifically? Are you
Check to see who's there already, how well it's set up. I'm going to head into the office. I'm even
so
going to go into the green room and check the NC and see if I can see our little Nos.
so going down the list here. So people who are here. So Romano and Harvey, who you'd have seen talking with Vic when you went in. The up at Robin's bar, Robin is there. She's setting up. She waves at you very giddily.
I send her a wink.
She is all about it. When you head downstairs, Lane and Rhea are already on their bar. Declan and Kennedy are just arriving and starting to set up Al's bar. Clyde and Jen are also starting to go through and get the club kind of put together and set in order. So you've got a full staff there, more or less.
Okay.
You mentioned that you wanted to go to your office and then to the green room. What did you want to do in your office?
Check the phones there. Check any responses or any reviews recently left for the place, just in case. Check the mail.
There's a lot of business related stuff, but Moira has already opened and taken care of most of it. The only real thing that when you were walking into your office, there is a weird feeling about your office. It's not as if there is something missing or something that has been deliberately fucked with. It's not as if there is even something that is necessarily off. But as you walk into your office, there is something that is almost imperceptible that is wrong.
Sense the unseen.
I'll give it to you. There's nothing that comes up on Sense the Unseen.
I'm going to call Vic over before I go further in.
Okay, so you call for Vic. Vic, are you even still at the club, or have you left at this point?
I don't think any of us have left yet. We were
Okay.
still trying to figure out, like,
Who gets the car?
logistics of car and vehicle and who's going to Uber. So I think we're all still there at this point.
I just want to point out, isn't it crazy that even in a modern Gothic setting like this, that people are still trying to figure out who's going to take the car?
Mm-hmm.
God bless
I
America,
tell you
and
what.
it's marriage to the car.
So,
Killed the trolleys and the radio road.
so when you get up there, Michael, what do you tell Vic?
I'm gonna ask him like something's wrong. Can you do me an EF8 solid and check out the blood? Do a bloodhound check here.
So
Sure, I can try.
So
I'm not
Vic,
as good at it as
Idaho.
Idaho was, but I can try.
So Vic, when you take a whiff of the air, it's what Michael is seeing, you can smell. It's not that there's something wrong there. It's not that there's something that is obvious. It's not like there's a new smell there. It's not like there's something there that is blocking your scent or an additional scent or anything like that. It is something different. It is something you can, even if you can't see it, you can smell it in the air. That there's something that's just off. Something is not matching up with the way that you feel it should.
Do I need to make a roll at all, or is that just?
If you were going to make a roll, you'd have to be able to tell me what you were attempting to figure
Roll
out.
What the scent is necessarily?
It's not a scent.
It's just something different. Okay.
A better way to phrase it would be a change in the air.
Okay, I let Michael know that there's definitely smells like something different here, but what is different? I'm not sure exactly.
I mean, everything looks fine, but it just looks wrong too. So I just wanted to make sure because like I couldn't see anything.
So what do you? So what's the next step?
Would Moira be? I would like calm Moira and be like, Moira, check the cameras around my office. Recently,
Moira says, "Okay, it's going to take me a couple minutes to do it, though."
Okay.
So while she's heading off to check the cameras, what are you going to do?
I mean, at that point, I'd call Al too.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, all I would have been doing is just making sure that bars were set up, open, everybody had bank.
Like, yeah, we'd have to do bank, and the bank is in the office anyway, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you get there, Al, what do you do?
I ask what's up. I have been summoned. What the hell you want?
Like, I nod towards the office. I'm like, everything seemed kosher to you?
So Al, you don't have a perception of there being anything off or strange. To you, this office just looks like it always has.
Nope, everything seems fine.
Would you mind hitting it with a stronger sense the unseen?
Sure.
I will again give this to you. There's nothing there.
Why? What are you guys sensing? What's up?
Something's different. Just don't know what. It feels like somebody's been here, or like something's changed, but it hasn't. And then like when I asked Vic to come check it out, he says like it's like a shift change in air, but he sees like it's like something different too, but hard to put your finger on. So with everything going on lately, I'm just trying to make sure to like sidestep any traps or know who's been checking up on us.
Um, hmm. Wondering about rolling my premonition, seeing if it would tell me anything about what could happen in the office in the near future. No modifier. That come out correct?
It looks like it did. 1 second. Let me double check
That's not
your.
bad.
It's a good roll.
Success on every die.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that all? What is your resolve? It's the resolve and discipline. Is your resolve that low?
Hmm?
Yes, it is. Okay, got it. What is it? 6 die? No, 5. It should be your resolve plus your. Hold on, I don't think you did it right.
I just did it off the sheet.
Hold on, really quickly, because premonition is resolved in the discipline, so it should have been 5. No, that's right. That's 5. Okay. All right, I'm wrong. So here is. I'm just so used to all of you having like 90 dice. So okay, so here is the question, Al. What are you either touching or what are you focusing on here in the office?
I guess probably Michael's desk or main area that Michael usually focuses and does his business. Because theoretically, if somebody's been in here, they'd be rooting around in Michael's things. So that that would be the closest. Does it need to be even more specific?
No.
Okay.
So you stand there, you put your hands on the desk and you focus. And there is a flickering, almost as if you see a bunch of ghosts. There are the decor in the club is very Halloween. From where you're standing looking out over the dance floor, you can see that there are tons of people here. There are some people here who are dressed up in your typical Halloween costumes, dressed up as Batman, dressed up as Marvel characters. There are a number
Slutty everything.
there are a number of different versions of Harley Quinn.
That's just coming off the con circuit. We've seen it all.
Oh my god, you guys, I'm so sorry I never caught a proper photo of me in my Dr. Frankenfurter costume.
There's a lot of Rocky Horror Picture Show, but there is something that is going on here in the club. There are a number of people who are dressed plainly, maybe even obviously so. Some of them are basically wearing like jeans and a hoodie with the hood pulled up. Some of them are wearing like jeans and a varsity jacket. Some of them, so there's a girl there who's wearing like a cheerleader outfit. All of them are wearing animal masks.
Hmm.
Some eyes wide shut kind of.
Um,
This reminds me of the God, what's her name? It's a music video. Bat for Lashes music video. Doom. Oh, I
one
can't
of
do it.
them, there is in the crowd, there is a feminine figure who is wearing a black hoodie, who has on a kind of sparkling pink backpack. She's got torn jeans, but the mask that she's wearing is that of a black dog, its face in a snarl. From your office,
I love you, man. Have I told you that lately?
you watch these apparition party people dancing and listening to music. The girl with the black face mask, the dog mask, walks up to your bar. And you recognize it as your bar, not just because of the location, but because you see you and Lane behind it. From where you are, you see her reach up and grab the front of the mask and pull it off. You can't see who it is. But you see the gun come up. You see Lane dive in front of you. And you hear the flash and the shatter of glass. And then you're back here in the office. But there is something that feels different about this. This does not feel set in stone. This feels like some sort of a possibility. What might yet be, what could have been, what may yet come. It doesn't feel like a premonition so much as you've seen.
One branch.
Yes.
Yeah, coming out of the premonition, I'd probably just be like, yeah, somebody's trying to kill my ass. Somebody trying to kill me. And I would basically retell of my premonition and the spooky party. So I don't know that that helps us at all with figuring out what you guys are sensing in here, but Halloween?
Did anybody die in your vision? Did you die?
No, they shot Lane. Lane took the bullet for me.
That was in the vision, or that happened in real life?
That's the vision.
Vision. Okay.
Basically everything Knox said after Halloween party description, that was all vision.
So the question is, with that information, so okay, Al, what do you do now? You said you were going to go into the club. You'd been pulled away to do this. So we'll say that, well, we'll kind of backtrack a little bit and say, so between the point when you walked into the club and you were called up to Michael's office where you had this, what would you have been doing?
Just going to each bar, checking in with everybody, you know, how are you doing? Do you have adequate backup? XYZ. The normal check in.
Let Lane and Rhea seem like they're doing good. Robin, of course, seems like she's doing fine. Declan and Kennedy seem like they're doing okay. They are kind of lamenting the fact that they don't have a bar, that it's basically 2 bartenders and no bar back. When you come across Clyde and Jen, they are wheeling trash cans around, getting things set up. Clyde kind of barely gives you kind of a gruff nod. Jen kind of waves at you and like points at she kind of thumbs at your bar, and she's like, so which one of them are you demoting to barback for tonight so you can take over?
Oh, you make wild assumptions. How about, hi, boss, how's it going?
She's like, oh, I just kind of figured you were going to be working here tonight.
I don't always discuss those things with everybody. Sometimes things come up that require my attention outside of the club, and I won't always know until night of. And how running a business works.
She kind of is like, oh, okay.
I mean, shit, for all I care, they can just take turns. I don't give a shit. As long as they get along and my bars run well.
She seems a little kind of stymied, and she's like, oh, okay. Is everything okay?
Yeah, just got a lot on my plate tonight.
Clyde kind of growls at her from a couple feet away. Is like, come on, we gotta go. And Jen kind of is like, oh, okay, and kind of stumbles off.
Oh.
So this would be about the point when you would have received the call.
Right.
So before everybody heads off on their individual adventures, if you are still all heading off on your own individual adventures, we've got a couple things to take care of. One, let's do some housekeeping.
So, who re-rolled?
All right.
Everyone's re-rolled.
I rolled my own.
Re-rolled. Someone re-rolled me.
I'm assuming that the reroll is Mr. Starwell. So then it seems like the only
You're muted, Martha.
Do you need me to do it again, or does that count?
No, it counts.
Okay, cool.
So the only person who got any hungrier tonight would be Vic. So the other thing we're going to take care of while we're at it is a bio break. And we're going to come back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right, everybody in chat, thanks for sticking with us. All our lurkers, we love you. But yeah, go get a sandwich, go to the bathroom, do what you need to do. We'll be back in a few. Also, I will be running an ad. In order to get rid of those ads, consider subscribing. You can always use your Amazon Prime, hook it up with your Twitch, and get one free ad a month. So, sorry about those ads,
12
everybody.
month subscriber now.
I know.
3 times the level. Specialties is a flat 3.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about the little extended break, but thank you for sticking with us, guys. How are we all doing in chat? We love to hear from you guys. Yeah, but welcome back to the playground. I'm Pixie Phoenix. I'm a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch, and tonight you're joining us for Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night 5th edition. I'm joined by Nox, our storyteller, Zack, who plays Victor, Olga
Heyo.
is our Michael, and I'm Alice. And we were about to split up.
Splitting
Well,
the party,
before we do,
always a good idea.
I would like to also get Vic and his notes for one more task before we head out for the evening.
Okay, so what are you doing?
I'm gonna ask Vic to see if he can smell our Tremere.
If I can do what now?
Smell our Tremere, like their
Smell
presence in their room.
drums.
So when you go up to the apartment, the pair of you, or are all 3 of you going?
Yeah, I'll tag along before I
Okay.
take off.
When you go up there, you can't smell anything.
Been cleaned.
Like how little of anything.
I
Like
mean,
no
it still,
incense. No.
I mean, it still smells like their apartment. You just don't
Okay.
smell any of the denizens.
Would Vic be able to tell how long or old that scent is? Okay.
Did they leave any of their personal belongings?
I mean, you smelled from the outside. You didn't go inside.
Yeah, this is from the outside. We're not going into their apartment.
I mean, it's their safe haven. I'd rather not breach that trust. Or
I've
I'm
got no
gonna,
qualms about it.
yeah, I'm gonna knock and see if I can like just open the door, take a look in.
When you knock, you don't get any response, but when you actually try to open the door, it doesn't budge.
Hmm.
Like the lock is locked, like the hand is locked, or the door is locked.
Like the door won't move.
Could I use my occult to see if there's any kind of spell or
I-
something supernatural blocking us?
So I would say that you don't have enough information from where you are to be able to determine if it's occult or mechanical or
But if there's like a body behind there. Vic, do you think you can open this gently without breaking anything?
I'm not sure that I want to.
if
No. I'm just like kind of stating like I don't.
What, you're afraid of booby traps?
Mhm.
No, not at all. I'm just afraid this breaks our trust with the Tremere. Like
They're still
they
living
haven't
in
done-
our apartment building. I mean, it's still technically our property.
Yes, I get that, but I don't smell anybody in there. There's no one in there. I don't understand why we're trying to break in. What are we trying to find in here?
Oh, this is out of concern in case somebody is in torpor or dead. Like what happened? Okay.
What,
So
somebody's
then
wouldn't
in
I be able
if
to
somebody's
smell
in
that?
I was gonna say if somebody was in torpor or there was a corpse, you would be able to smell that.
Okay.
Yeah,
then
I
never
don't
mind.
smell that here.
Okay.
That's why.
Well,
That's why.
then and just leave with the door alone. And I
Okay.
was like, all right, thank you, Vic.
So the 4 of you are splitting up now. So who is taking the car? Who is taking the bus or the subway, and who is taking an Uber?
Who's going the furthest? Whoever's
I
going the
am.
furthest should take the car.
So theoretically, the person who's actually going the furthest is you. Well, no, because you're not going to the dissolved girl anymore.
No, I'm going to Jack's. I'm trying to
Where's
figure out
Jack?
what's going on with Jack.
So
We
Jack,
don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know the address yet. Al is heading out to the subways. Now, the only place that Al knows is the entrance to where they are, to where the Nos were, that the warrens that she'd found previously with you guys, is actually dead center of Camarilla territory.
Mm.
Michael, you're actually heading south in basically almost the opposite direction, city ways, to head towards. You said you wanted to go to check out Threnity's apartment and then head to Carmine's, correct?
Correct.
So you're actually headed literally in the opposite direction, reasonable to Al. Funny enough, Vic is heading north, so you all are literally going in opposite directions.
I mean, I can take an Uber. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I don't mind either way. I just figured, saving costs on Uber, like whoever was going further, take the car.
Besides,
whoever-
I don't even have points in drive, so that wouldn't be a great look for me.
Yeah, me. I have 1 point in drive, so it's not like I'm going to be able to do much.
Okay, I guess I get the car.
Okay, so you're taking the car. Al, are you taking? I'm guessing you're going to take the subway as far as you can.
Yeah.
And then
And-
I guess Vic is going to Uber.
And Vic is Ubering. So, Vic, when you get in touch with Moira, she tells you that the address that Jack has on file is basically right in like this area.
Okay, close to the Soul Club.
It is a part of town which is a little secluded, honestly. That part of town is, let me double check my map here really quickly. But it's not the map that I wanted.
These are not the maps that you are looking for.
So that area, Winfield, is kind of it's not a rich area per se, but it's a closed off area. There's if you've ever looked at the maps of Philadelphia from basically a sky view, if you go to like Google Maps and you search it, that area is weirdly sectioned off from Philadelphia. It's almost like they were building subdivisions and they started back there and hadn't got to connecting it to the rest of the city yet. So when you take the Uber up there, the first thing that you notice, Vic, as you get into the area, it's not a poor area, it's not an affluent area, but the people here seem very weirdly suspicious of one another. Now, maybe it's the fact that there's a kind of hulking kindred who is cruising the area at an awkward time of night that might be setting people a little bit on edge. But the general feel of it is on edge. When the Uber pulls up to as close as he can get, you find that there is a section of street that is blocked off. There are cops everywhere. There's got to be 7 or 8 cop cars there. There's 2 ambulances. There's a fire truck. There are tons and tons of people who are looky-looing around. it is. They are keeping everybody a very far space away from where you need to be going.
I guess then my first step is to obfuscate. I'm gonna do a rouse check to do unseen passage.
Okay.
Oof, that sucks. Oh well. I've been at worse.
You feel it in your gut tightening. You start to feel like all of these lovely little snacks and all of their little uniforms, and they're not even real people. You could totally eat 3 of them.
It's cop.
And then I guess my next step is just to kind of go on a recon and figure out what's going on here. What
Avoid the body cameras.
yeah.
So when you your plan is basically so walk me through that a little bit. Are you attempting to basically kind of take a wide circling route around, trying to get around and stay away from everybody? Are you
I don't plan on going through like headquarters, because headquarters is going to be like too overrun with a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth. But I would at least like try to get in and see if I can get some like some of the firsthand or the firsthand reports from the people on the field. People that would not necessarily be dealing with a lot of traffic coming back and forth.
Okay, so what you're saying is you would try to be, you're not actually even trying to head now to your location. You're attempting to kind of recon the people who are there and listen in to try to find out what's going on.
Yes. Just trying to figure out what's going on right now, and trying to get a sense on the situation itself. So not necessarily trying to do anything or sneak in right now, just trying to do some recon and trying to figure out what's going on.
So there's like a clump of cops. I'm guessing you're going to want to try to like listen in on their conversation, correct?
Yeah, if I can get close enough, yeah.
Okay, so I need you to make me a dex and stealth roll.
Okay.
So that's going to be, well, so you sneak up on these cops, and they are the discussion is kind of a back and forth. One of them's like, I've never seen shit like this before. And another one says, I have. This is totally a gang hit. The first cop's like, gang hit with fucking rocket launchers or grenades? On third cop is like, there's no rocket launchers or grenades. And first cop, okay, dumbass, then tell me what made a crater like that.
Do I see a crater?
You have not gone near the scene of the crime, as it were. So you're just listening to them, and they are not the line that is basically on the street. They have managed to completely section off the that street. So you don't really have a good way of, you haven't seen what they're talking about yet.
Okay, I'll try to slowly sneak my way forward.
So as you kind of creep down the streets, sticking to the sides, sticking to the shadows as much as you can, and there's a lot of shadows because there's a lot of cop lights that are throwing shadows everywhere. You get to the location you're supposed to be at, which is a house, or kind of what used to be a house. The roof is still on it, although it's teetering a little bit. The garage, the single car garage, is still kind of intact. It's kind of slumping to the side. But the crater is basically where the front door was. It looks like something hit the front of the house and just pushed the entire front of the house in, like a bowling ball or a wrecking ball or something like that.
And is this the address that
It is indeed. It is indeed the address.
do I smell? Well, shit. I'm gonna smell lots of humans. Never mind. That's a stupid question.
So you can smell. So here are the things that you smell. One, you do smell. You smell tons of humans, of all sorts of different resonances of different. There is definitely some tasty morsels here if you had time. Two, you smell blood.
Having had few previous interactions with him, would I be able to smell his scent?
I was gonna say three. You do smell Jack from inside the house.
From inside in the crater or inside the house?
You without actually getting in there, there's no way to know. And there's a bunch of there are in the house. There are a couple, or let's just say by the front of the house, by where all of this is happening. There are fire crews and EMTs that are attempting to kind of very, very delicately navigate the situation. But there seems to definitely be some sort of concern about the stability of the structure. Like they don't want to go in and start digging through the rubble because they're worried that the rest of the house is going to come down around their ears.
And the house is on fire?
And the house is not on fire. It's just
Okay.
It's just very damaged.
Okay. I get this is gonna be tough, but I'm gonna try and go in for Jack and try and pull him out before firefighters or anyone else get to him.
Okay, so how are you going to like try to go around the house and into the backyard? Are you going to try to like slip directly by the firefighters and everybody and try to like navigate through the crater? How are you going to try to get into the house?
Where does the path of least resistance according to my nose, like what I'm assuming my sense of smell is what's going to be leading me to him.
So if you're attempting to go directly to Jack, you've basically got two different ways that you can do this. You can try to go straight through the crater and then try to navigate the people who are walking around there and go past them. Or you can basically hop the fence, either the neighbor's fence or that fence, and then try to go through the back door and into the house.
That seems like the path of least resistance. So let's go through that. Let's hop the fence and try and go through the back.
Okay, so you're going to try to hop the fence and go through the back door. All right, we're going to come back to that. Michael.
Yes, sir.
Where you were heading? Were you heading to go check out where Threnodi's last known haven that you knew of was, and then head to Carmine's? Were you heading to Carmine's and then to Threnodi's haven, or what is your plan here?
I'm gonna go check on Threnody first. That's my main concern.
Okay.
Carmine was almost treating like an old friend.
Okay, so when you're on the way, Westy has questions. She's like, "What are we doing tonight?" She's like, "Who is this person that we're seeing?"
This person is the other baron of the area, right?
she's kind of like other bear. So like, are you guys like? Is this? She's like, is this like Game of Thrones? Are you two like competing for territory, or she's like, or like,
No,
is this
no, it's just
person
is
like
any.
subservient to you? Is like there?
No, not like that. You can think of it like uh I guess like mayor of a town and mayor of a town, but they're tiny towns inside of Philadelphia.
She's like, okay. You can see
But
that this troubles her.
well, we just use the old-fashioned language because a lot of us are super old.
She's like, how old are you?
Let's just put it this way. I was there for Prohibition.
She's like, Jesus Christ. She's
Yeah,
like, wow, you really have been here a long time if you were here when we owned people.
Just as smart.
no, that's a couple. That's a little bit too. I mean, to be fair, we've never stopped owning people, but no, 1920s. Think flappers, jazz.
She's like, flappers. She's like, what the fuck? It'd be about this point when you drive up to a reasonably familiar apartment. 1 second.
Oh.
You drive up to a reasonably familiar apartment building. It is gray. It's not difficult to picture a short time ago when the three of you, when you and Idaho and Al were here, when you found the kindred who is missing a face, when you and Threnody and Idaho and Al fought through a pack of shovelheads to evacuate a group of people who, for whatever reason, were special. The building is covered in yellow tape. There's a condemned notice on the outside. The windows are all boarded up. It is uninhabited, at least not by any tenant who would be there legally. So, what do you want to do?
I'd like to do a sense the unseen.
Okay. Wits and aspects.
Hold on, getting there. What is my wits and aspects?
You could also theoretically do resolve and aspects if that's a better role for you, but I don't think it's a better role for anybody in the coterie.
I'm not looking. Oh, no, do not open in a different. Everything's opening in like completely different tab. Wits 3. What was the other one? Resolve? No, 3 is better.
Mm-hmm.
And You said what?
Wits and aspects. So for you, it'd be 3 and 1. Excuse me. It'd be 3, 1, so 4. So it'd be 2 and 2.
I thought I wasn't that hungry.
You do apparently get. You did have 1 hunger from something.
Uh,
So when you look around, there is. You see a couple kindred who are milling about. One who's near a dumpster. But there doesn't appear to actually be anybody who is focused on the building. You can see with your vision, you see glittering eyes through the windows. You see that you're being watched, perhaps by several different kindred. But you can't see who it is.
I'd like to park the car and see if I can approach the individuals at the dumpster.
Okay, so when you come up on the ones at the dumpster, it is 2 dudes. One of them is dressed to say perhaps a little lasciviously. That is a very, very short crop top that he is wearing. Those hip hugger jeans ride awful low. And those jeans have been cut off at the thighs high enough that there's not
a lot is left to the imagination.
Not a whole lot left to the imagination. And not for nothing. Given the shall we say the gauge of the cannon, there's nothing left to the imagination. The other guy who is standing next to him is
George Michael.
No, is dressed almost completely the opposite. Where the first guy is very, very flamboyant, has makeup on and very feminine features and very fine features, and painted nails and jewelry. The gentleman who's standing next to him, if you thought that they were a homeless wino, no one would have even given you a little bit of flack. He is wearing a stocking cap. He's got on at least 3 or 4 layers of heavy coats. He is, or was at one point in his life, probably a little heavier set.
Okay.
His beard is black, speckled with a little bit of gray. His skin color is a little gray as well. He's covered, he's got stocking gloves on, wearing ski pants and boots. He is not dressed for weather in Philadelphia in July at all.
Right. Like, if this was a person, they would be melting and smelling from a mile away.
Mm-hmm. When you approach them,
Mm-hmm.
how do you approach? How do you make your approach?
Gently, softly, like a hand up, being like, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
They both turn around and the one who is underdressed, we'll say, is very quickly brandishing switchblades.
Where he pulled that from?
I'm gonna say, I mean you no harm, and I don't really wish to cross steel with you right now. Maybe I could even help.
The individual responds back, doubt it. Says, there's not enough food here for all of us. You best be stepping. The man in the coat kind of gives a long look at the one with the blades and then looks at you and says, we're sorry. They don't mean any harm. Why are you here? You're not in your territory.
I'm looking for. Well, I'm basically just here trying to follow up on the residents who used to be here.
The one with the blade puts the switchblade away and be like, ain't nobody here no more. After Queen Bee decided to take her walking ass off, nobody could hang.
What do you mean?
The one with the beard kind of rolls his eyes and be like, everybody knows what happened here. Please stop playing dumb.
I seriously don't know what happened here.
Says you were here that night.
I know, but I'm talking about after that night.
Says that was the end of it.
Trinity never came back.
After the shovelheads showed up and kicked everybody out and then had their own private turf war inside between them. Said, after that, there's nothing left to come back to. Said some hoity-toity asshole showed up here and talked about big game with some of the local developers about how he was going to buy this place out. It never happened. The former one with Switchblade said, fuck him and that whore he was with.
What did this whore look like? What did both of these characters look like?
They kind of snap their fingers and be like, street trash looking, street meat looking straight out of fucking X videos out of the bottom of the porn section kind of whore. Said, and then him with his fucking Val Kilmer looking ass with his frosted little hair, looking like he's trying to have volleyball relations with Tom Cruise.
Come in. In.
One with the beard kind of is like, looks at them and is like, are you done? You done? They kind of hold their hands up and saunter off for a second. The one in all of the coats says, just ivory tower. Just more broken promises. Saying they're going to come here and fix things, and they never do.
So, has Trinity disappeared? Has she abandoned all of this?
He says, "Ain't nobody seen Threnody in weeks."
And I would say, like, in X amount of weeks, that correspond to how long ago Elysium was.
He thinks about it and he goes, something like that. She's talk a good game. He's talk all about the Anarchs, talk all about how up with people she was. How she wanted to make a difference. Push came to shove. She got shoved.
And nobody from the Anarchs has been around to take care of anybody, it looks like. Her whole coterie disappeared too?
He kind of holds his hands up and he goes, for a little while there, he said there were a whole bunch of ivory tower looking folks who were coming around here trying to say they were going to start buying properties and turning things around. He said, but that stopped a couple weeks ago. We ain't seen nobody yet.
How many weeks ago? Like 2 or 3?
Something like that. He says he says, you know who shows up though on a pretty regular basis?
No idea.
Says some woman keeps her hair nice and short, dresses kind of androgynous, like has a big thick boy on her arm who likes to shove people around, talking about how she's going to start making inroads here. That's the point when Switchblade comes back. He's like, bullshit, that bitch shows I'm going to carve her nose off.
Like, I feel the same way. I'm like, do you have ways of getting a hold with people?
The guy in the coat looks at you and like, he's like, why? He's like, to what end? Westy looks at the guy with the coat and she's like, not real inconspicuous. And dude looks at her and says, what are you talking about? She looks at him and she says, well, it's the dead of summer and you're dressed like it's the dead of winter. Switchblade's like, see, I told you. And he looks at Switchblade and he looks at Westy and he's like, and he looks at you, Michael, and he goes, again, I'll ask, what are you down here for?
I'm down here trying to make sure anybody who doesn't fall under the small umbrella of the cam or spot has food and can make their way without danger. And especially for concern for people who I thought I had gone through hell with and would probably face more battles with.
Switchblade looks at you and says, "Well, I don't know who you thought you were battling with, but if you thought that your sister in charge was going to back you up, she gone."
I'm wondering if she ever came back from Elysium. Maybe it's not her choice. But this is all speculation. All I know is from what you're telling me, she's just not here. And I
The
thank you for your time.
guy in the coats says, "I'll tell you this." He says, "The residents who did move in afterwards," he said, "they might have some more details for you." He says, "But they ain't too friendly."
Well, I thank you again for all of your help and taking your time to talk to me. I just wanted to give you, and I'm going to give both of them a card.
When you give it to the guy in the coats, he tucks it away. When you give it to Switchblade, she basically takes it, looks at it, and basically like flings it away and is whatever.
Well, you can ask him if you ever need it again. I've got plenty on me, and I'm always on the other side.
She looks at Coates and is like, "Royalty's royalty, no matter what kind of the side of town they come from. Can't do shit." She kind of strolls off. Coates looks after her. She walks off and looks at you, Michael, and says, he goes, "Right now," he says, "I get it. Things are in Philadelphia are different right now. Things are getting a little weird." He says, "I keep my ear to the ground because that's how I live. That's how I survive." He says, "But," he says, "I'll tell you this. From one of the have-nots to one of the haves," he says, "things need to change." He
I
points.
mean,
He points.
shit.
He points to the building and he says, "They're the result of the haves arguing over what else they're going to take. Well, the have-nots don't have enough to eat."
Now, make no mistake, I appreciate everything you said, and I'm taking your words at heart. And I agree with you fully and violently that shit needs to change. But just because I look fancy doesn't mean I'm not a gutter punk. And I haven't had anything that I wasn't going to keep to myself.
Westy looks at you and is like, "Who's in the apartments that they're so scared of?"
We're going to go find out.
So, are you going to head to the apartments, or are you moving on to the to see Carmine?
Towards the apartments.
All right, this seems like an excellent place to step away from that. Al,
Yeah.
you're on the subway, and when you You get onto the subway and start heading towards that platform. It's late as the stops go by. The few people who are on the train slowly start to get off. And after about 2 stops, the car you're in is basically just you. You're sitting there, and the lights flicker for a second. You when the lights come back on, sitting across from you, you see a pair of very dead eyes. She does that smile that seems to take forever. And she says, "Where are we going?"
Is it Annie?
Hmm.
Did the dead shark eyes not give it away?
Just double checking. You know, maybe she's part of a brood. We don't know. Um, well, I'm going to look for a friend. I don't know what the hell you think you're doing.
There's another flicker of the lights. And when the lights come back on, she is sitting next to you, leaning in uncomfortably close.
Fuck think you're doing?
She just making myself more comfortable.
And does that come at the cost of my comfort?
She kind of gives a weird childlike giggle. She goes, "Did you get the gift I left you?" She goes, "I thought you might be hungry." She's like, "You get really cranky when you're hungry."
What do you think gave you the right to break into my place?
The smile doesn't go away, and she goes, "Oh, I've been there before."
Yeah, I figured that out. Just seriously, break it down for me, your interest, because I obviously am not reciprocating. So what the fuck is your obsession with me?
When you say the word obsessed, there is a twitch.
Oh, did I strike a nerve?
She looks away and is murmuring to herself. You can't hear everything that she said, but there's a vague over feeling of something to the effect of this wasn't how it was supposed to go.
So what was your plan? How are things supposed to go for you?
She looks at you and her face is almost emotionless. It is, the smile is gone. It is like looking at a doll. And she looks at you and she says, "You needed to be loved. You needed a replacement." She says, "I could be that replacement."
That's not how that works. And I'm also a little intrigued that you've obviously been following me longer than I gave you credit for. So why do you think I need a replacement for Ruby?
She gives you kind of a broken smirk and shrugs. The lights flicker again, and she's sitting back across from you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You still haven't answered my question, though.
She looks down at the ground and kind of balls up her fists. The train comes to a stop. It is the station where you would get out for the NOS. People start to filter onto the train.
Step off.
She steps off, but on the other side of the platform. She doesn't take her eyes off of you. As the train pulls away, there's too many things going on. There's too many people walking by, trains rushing by. And by the time that the train's gone, she's vanished too. So where do you head?
Back down where we usually run into our NOS friends. Or at least the last known location.
Heading down the subway platform, heading down that tunnel, you start looking for previous markers, previous places that you've seen, previous doors. At first, it starts off as kind of the niggling thought that's like, maybe I just haven't gone far enough. Maybe I haven't gone to the junction yet. And then after a little bit longer, there's kind of a looking back feeling like, did I miss it? Was there a door I missed? But after doubling back 2 or 3 times and kind of retracing your steps, heading back to the subway platform, and then there is a feeling like either the way forward that you knew is no longer there, or it's being intentionally hidden from you somehow.
That was my thought. If I get in the general area, could I use Sense the Unseen?
So I would say yes. So your idea is you're attempting to get to approximately where you think there should be a door,
Right.
or where there should be a junction point, and then you're going to use Sense the Unseen to try to see through it. So when you Sense the Unseen, um, there are two things that you see immediately. Uh, one is that you're being followed.
Can I tell that it's Annie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was
Two,
honestly half expecting that anyway.
two, there is where you were certain that there is a door, or was a door. Instead, when you Sense the Unseen, there is a marking on the wall. It is maybe about 9 feet up on the tunnel wall. It's tiny. The entire little bit is no bigger than and depicts a bat hanging upside down with its eyes closed.
Take a picture of it with my phone.
When you try to take a picture of it with your phone, you don't get a whole lot because it's black on black. It's
Okay.
only when you look at it.
I don't have one of those new Samsungs.
When you with your vision, it's only with your vision of Sense the Unseen that you're picking it up. It's it is something has been done to this paint or this ink to make it show. To the naked eye, when you look at it just yourself with your phone light, even there's nothing there. It is, like I said, it's black on black. It is.
Got it. I turn around and ask Annie, "What do you know about this?"
She saunters up next to you, really close, like almost pushing up against you, and when she looks up, she looks back at you and she says, "I didn't see nothing."
You know anything about the people that live down here?
She gives a kind of half-hearted shrug. She kind of tilts her head at you and she goes, she says, "You mean the rats? Or the homeless people? Or the other people?"
The kindred. But who are the other people now that you mention it?
She looks at you and kind of tilts her head just briefly to the side. And she says, "There are other people."
Are these other people human?
She kind of tilts her head more at you. And she says, "Are you?"
You know the fucking answer to that. Just quit speaking in rhymes and riddles. I'm looking for some very important people.
She gives that horrible smile and points at herself, and she says, "I'm important."
Well, you'd make that case a lot better for yourself if you didn't stalk people.
When you say the word stalk, she looks away.
Yeah, it's not a nice word, but it's also not a nice thing to do. You could have easily revealed yourself at any point at the club. We could have, formed a normal rapport. But you're sneaking in my club, you're breaking into my house, leaving me doggy bags that I have to clean up after. If you want to be helpful, just be helpful. But if you're just gonna act butthurt every time I confront you about shit you're literally doing, you're free to leave.
She still hasn't looked up.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep investigating.
So what do you do?
Um, can I use premonition focusing on the marking?
I think there's a limit to how many times you can use it in a session. I think a player can only do it once per session.
What?
I'm looking it up. I'm checking. I think the storyteller is allowed to bring it to.
Per scene. So no, you could do it.
Okay. Okay.
Do this thing.
Go for it.
Rouse check.
Oh, that's right. Rouse first.
Ooh.
Eh.
So, do you want to re-roll that one die? Okay. When you focus on the art, you get a flash. There are other symbols. One of them looks like a bat with its eyes open. One of them looks like a bat with its bat wings spread open, like it's about to take off. And there is yet another one where the bat's eyes are X'd over and the wings droop.
Can't tell anything else about the area. Or is...
And that is all you see.
Any other new murals while I'm down here?
So now, if you remember correctly, the murals that you saw on the last time when you guys came down here, way back when, and you went for Yoru, was actually on the other side of the platform, going in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Coming from where you are now, there's no murals to be found.
It's nothing. I don't think there's anything else as far as abilities that I can use to try to get any other being down. So I guess I'm heading back up to the platform.
Okay. Vic, when you're in the backyard, from behind the house, there are a couple things that become really apparent. One, whatever happened to the front of the house didn't get to the back. There's no craters back here. It's not anything like that.
Okay.
But you can see from the way that the house is now tilting that the structure is tilted forward. The house is bending under its own weight.
Okay. And then I guess I'm trying to single out Jack specifically. Do I need to re-roll a Bloodhound again for that, or?
No. So you can definitely smell Jack somewhere in the house.
Okay.
There is other blood here that you can smell that is fresh.
Okay.
And you can still smell all of the people who are outside.
Okay.
So, but there don't appear to be, from using your Bloodhound and from what you can tell, Jack and the other smell of blood, seems to be coming from inside the house. There does not appear to be anybody else. There's no other smells of anybody from inside the house.
Yeah, then I guess I'm going for Jack and the other smell. If they're close together, Jack being priority.
So when you go into the house, are you still attempting to maintain your obfuscation, or are you basically
Yes, for now at least, at least until I know.
Okay, I need you to roll your dex and stealth, because at this point you're now attempting to navigate a increasingly precarious situation while maintaining.
Can I re-roll one?
You can re-roll one.
Re-roll one. Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, so while you are attempting to go into the house, the only way to actually get into the house from the back is to actually either break a window or interact with something and push a door in.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to push the door in, the latch still catches, and when you go to twist it, it's enough to break your obfuscation.
Okay.
Creeping into the house, you definitely smell blood, Jack, but the smell of blood is also significantly heavier here.
I guess I'm following my nose towards Jack, just seeing where that leads me.
So as you head into the house, you're basically going through the kitchen at this point, through kind of a mudroom and then into the kitchen. When you get into the very short hallway between the kitchen and what probably looked like it might have at one point been a dining room, is when you see Jack. He's laying maybe 3 or 4 feet away from the front door. His face is swollen. One of his legs is bent at a horrible, horrible angle. He is unconscious. The smell of blood is, you realize, coming from basically under the wall where that got cratered. And it's at about this point that you hear the creak as the supports start to lean forward again. You know you don't have a whole lot of time here.
Aside from Jack, is there anyone else in here that like any of his kids? Any? Is it just him?
You don't see anybody else.
Okay, then I would try and grab him and try and get the F out.
So when you go forward and you pick him up, the movement of that and the pain wakes him up, and he cries out in just agony. And you can hear on the other side of the door, on the other side of the wall, you can hear responders being like, shit, there's somebody in there.
Then I need to try and get him out to a safe spot and then deal with the. Well, I don't know if the responders are like the firefighters and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then yeah, then they should totally come in here.
You might not have time. They might not be able to like take the load.
Yeah, if there's time for them to come in here, then I'll let them. But
No, there's no way that they're getting through the rubble of the crater.
okay, then I need to get him out then.
So when you start to take him out the back, he starts to try to struggle against you, and he's like, no, I gotta go back in. I gotta try to find Maddie.
Where are they?
He goes, I don't know. He says, we were playing by the front, and then impossible shit happened. He goes, he's got to be here somewhere.
I'll help you look for whoever you need. I'll stick with him for now. I don't know what else to do.
So what are you still attempting to get him out, or are you attempting to basically assist him and take him back in? Because at this point, the building is now actively creaking as it's starting to sag forward.
Or are you going to go back in looking for Maddie specifically?
I'm going to try and get as much information from him as I can, and then tell him to stay out because there's the building. The buildings.
Well, he can't. I mean, he can't move. He's fucked up.
Okay.
So
okay.
you.
Well, shit. The building's about to collapse. There's no time.
Could your bloodhound tell if there's another living person in there right now?
Do you have anything of Maddie's?
He shakes his head.
Do I smell Maddie on him at all, or do I smell anything on him that's not him?
You smell something familiar. You're not sure where exactly. You pick up the smell of something. It's kind of greasy, kind of something you've been close to recently, but you're not sure. So the house starts to, you hear buckling as the supports start to buzz now. And you can hear people on the other side screaming as they start to back away. So you've got, at this point, seconds to decide what you're going to do because the structure is starting to come down around your ears.
I just gonna need to grab Jack and head out.
So you're just going to basically barrel out the back.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
As you barrel out the back, he screams. And when you're out, do you basically just go out into the backyard and then stop there, or do you basically continue out and keep going?
I guess I would at least stop first just to, catch a breath and see what's going on. If law enforcement or anything else seems to be getting close, then I would pull us out. But I mean, if we have a moment to ourselves, then
Well, keep in mind that as soon as with the house down now, he's now outside of it screaming, which is going to draw attention.
okay. Well, shit. Then no, I need to go pull out. I guess grapple.
Well, you've already got him, so there's no.
Yeah, you might as well just keep running.
Yeah, just keep running then. Pull him as far away from the scene as possible.
Okay, so you're basically just going to keep running and then go basically jump the fence. And
Yeah.
keep moving. All right. Mr. Starwell. When you approach the front door to the apartments, it's taped over. Like there's yellow caution tape. Again, there's a sign that basically says that this building is condemned. So how are you just going to tear the tape down and basically kick the door open, or are you going to, like, how are you planning on getting in? Are you being
I'm
discreet?
gonna walk around, see if there's another entrance, open window, janitorial door or utility door or something.
Okay. When you go around the building, the only thing that is at the building that is a back door of sorts is basically, so the lobby actually went all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So there is basically a second lobby entrance on the back, but it's also been taped over with condemned signs.
And like no open windows or anything?
No, all of the windows, at least for the first 3 floors, have been boarded up. It's above that where you saw people who had pulled the windows or pulled the boards aside and were looking out at you.
I'm gonna knock on the back door.
There's no answer. Westy looks at you like, what are you doing?
Being polite. At this point, I just peel the tape off and see if I can open it and go through.
When you peel the tape off, it would be one of those things where it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that the door is locked when the glass is all gone.
I just open the door, basically.
So when you peel the tape away, it definitely allows you access into the building. The inside of the building is exactly as you remember it, where Al backed the truck up to get the people out. Where somebody threw that nasty looking harpoon and pinned Threnody to the truck.
At this point, I turn and quietly ask Westy, I'm like, I should have asked you a while. Can you fight?
She looks at you and she's like, I mean, I haven't had to. She's like, I mean, she like flexes her arms and she's like, this is usually enough to make people go away. She's like, is that not the way that it works?
You might have to. But if you do, I'd be right there with you.
She gives you a look that is somewhere between incredulous and insulting. And she's just like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? When you head inside, you still see the place where Idaho and Threnody blocked up the stairs. You still see the place where they left obstructions to try to protect from the people who are coming down. As you listen, you can hear wind whipping through the hallways somewhere out, but here on this bottom floor with everything boarded up, it is sticky and hot. And you know, if you were human, you would be very uncomfortable. To add to all of that, there is the smell of piss and shit and animal excrement and trash that is wafting through the air. And underneath of all of that,
like Greece during a heat wave when they had a garbage man strike.
and underneath all of that, there is blood. Old, rotted. So what do you do?
I start ascending the stairs.
When you get to the second floor, it is blocked off, just like they left it. There is no way to get into the second floor through this entrance. It is covered in trash, in old refrigerators that have been broken and thrown over, in stoves, in it's just basically blocked off in refuse. You know that if you and Westy took the time to start digging, you could probably get through, but the way further up is clearer.
I keep going up.
The third floor is where the smell is. The hallway is, even in the very dim light that is here, that is streaming in from one far away open window. It's unmistakable that the hallways here are covered in a very old rusted brown color. When you were here last, that color was not brown at all. It was red. It looks like whatever else happened, they didn't even bother to clean up the human remains in terms of the bodily fluids. This is an old abattoir now. Westy looks around and is like, "You take me to the nicest places." You're muted.
You.
It's not all glitz and glamour. For anything that sparkles, it's got a darkle too.
She sighs and says, "So, she says, so what are we doing here?" She's like, "Are we just gonna keep wandering through here until we find somebody?"
Yeah.
She says, "All right. So where do you head? Do you continue to explore the third floor, or are you heading up?"
Up.
So, as you head up to the fourth floor, the light here is a little dimmer. It's not that there aren't open windows here or the doors haven't been kicked in. But it looks like when you look into one of the apartments that somebody has put up makeshift trash bags and old blankets over the windows to attempt to keep the light out. But the windows are broken, which means that they flicker as the wind shifts in the building. Somewhere up ahead, you hear shambling feet. So what do you do?
I head towards the shambling feet.
We're going to come back to that. Alice. You head back to the subway platform. Where do you go from there? Do you head back down the other way, or are you leaving?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already here. The night's probably not through, so yeah, I mean, I might as well traipse down the old path and see if I see anything before jumping back on.
So when you head down the other side, you notice two things almost immediately. One is that even though she has not obfuscated again and she is still following you, Annie makes no sound when she moves. She is almost a literal ghost. Her footfalls don't make any sound when they touch. Her clothes don't seem to move against one another. She is either has accomplished this in some sort of supernatural fashion, or has become so good at staying stealthy and staying unheard and unseen that she is literally unhearable.
And with this new interaction with Annie, with my knowledge, would I yet be able to pick out a clan?
So there are a couple things that stand out to you in terms of things that she's probably not. She is almost assuredly not Badu Hakim. She is way too loose with the rules, and she is way too that it doesn't fit. The other thing that it probably is immediately ruled out would be being Nas. She doesn't appear to bear any of the deformities. She's not ugly. She's uncomfortable to look at for other reasons. Right. She's that doesn't, of course, rule out the ministry. It certainly doesn't rule out Ravnos. And it doesn't rule out Malkavians. And of course, that also doesn't rule out Kadif either. But the other thing that you've noticed, having been this close to her, is you have at this point definitely seen her fangs. So at the very least, you know that she is not a thin blood. Like she's... there are many other things that you're not sure of, but she definitely doesn't have a beating heart.
And then, without looking back, without alerting, I would basically, hey, how'd you get so good at being so damn sneaky?
She kind of sidles up next to you and she just says, a lot of practice.
On me or others?
There's a giggle, and that is the only response that you receive.
What I thought. Just what I thought. Otherwise, I'm not really bothered by her. I'm just still keeping a lookout for any sign of either the artwork or anyone else could be living on this side.
When you get a little further down, there is a familiar offshoot in the path, and you find yourself back on the abandoned set of tracks where you met Yor and Samuel so long ago. When you get here, the tunnel is now at first it seems almost abstract. The colors are a perfect shifting gradient of pastel colors. It almost looks like the Aurora Borealis. It's just wrong colors for it. And it also shifts across the entire arc of the subway. That kind of starts to fade a little bit and starts to turn into other artwork. There's a mural of a lighthouse with a woman, the silhouette of a woman with long hair standing on top of the lighthouse.
Have I not had a vision of a lighthouse before?
You may have. There is a very, very strange mural that is almost lifelike. It is a park bench. Sitting on the bench is unmistakably Idaho. sitting next to someone in a tweed suit. Their face is obscured. At first glance, it's
Shakespeare?
almost a photographic replication. It's only when you step back a little bit to look at it that you start to notice uncomfortable details. The people who are walking on the street nearby, their reflections are all skeletal. The shadows that look like bushes that are in the foreground, on second glance, look like shoes and feet hanging. There are small tiny details, but the longer that you look, the more and more death that you see all around them.
At this point, I'd probably take my phone out and get a video, especially close-ups on some of those more insane details.
The next mural is weird in that it looks like a 70s disco mirror that's been put against it. So it looks like it's just going off forever. But when you look at it, you can feel like it's looking back at you. It's almost as if you're the one in the mirror being looked at. It is a deeply uncomfortable feeling as you are sitting there.
Run Sense the Unseen.
You can indeed do Sense the Unseen.
I have to rouse for
I don't believe you do.
that
No.
one.
Wits and aspects. When you look at it again, the feeling is more persistent with Sense the Unseen active. But when you look away and you look up, that's when you see the bat. On the ceiling, at the very apex of the subway tunnel, is the bat that you've seen in your premonition. It is hanging. Its wings are still folded over itself, but its eyes are open. In the premonition that you saw before, the bat had a semi-comical look to it, almost as if it was something out of The Simpsons with those big bulbous circular eyes. This is the same bat in theory, but this is a much more true to life sketch of it. It is not nearly as funny. And you notice that no matter where you walk, As long as you're in the vicinity, the bat's eyes seem to follow you.
After I've gotten video of everything, that shows up, I'm guessing the bat is the same as the other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd probably wander on a little further, looking for any more of the bats. Is it like wondering if this is like some odd map leading
So
me
you're gonna
somewhere?
so you're going to continue to head down into the subway tunnel, continuing to follow it down.
Just a little ways, yeah.
Awesome. Well, this seems like an excellent place for this session. Though certainly not our
God
chronicle
damn it.
to come to an end.
Ooh, boy. Sleeping in the sewers. Oh,
A
goodness.
bit of a different tale tonight.
It's
Mm-hmm.
been a while since we've split up. But this new Idaho bit's like, oh. Got me worried.
XP has been awarded. However, as this session, or rather this evening, is not yet done, willpower has not been restored, and dawn is not near yet.
Oh my goodness.
So we will return for the second half of this evening in 1 week.
Yes. I'm excited. What do we think, chat? I know you guys have been lurking. Let us know what you think of tonight's adventure.
How are you guys feeling about tonight's adventures?
Oof.
It was totally not what I was expecting. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I got my theories about you.
About me? What did I do?
Just an idea of what just where I see your story could go. I'll put it that way. I don't want to influence you at all, but I feel like I was reading where our storyteller was kind of leading you, and I was looking forward to it.
I it's going to depend on how the story comes out. I think I know what you're going to, but you're talking about the fact that Jack probably no longer has a family, and that he's probably going to have to, be pulled in. I'm getting those vibes too, but I'm not entirely sure what's going on yet. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen and see how I'm going to approach that. But we'll see.
Just seems like that's been a kind of a pattern with us. Is, we try to hold out and be like, okay, it's fine, and then there's some fatalistic situation that happens, and it's like, okay, you're gonna die,
But at the same
or you can
point,
become one. It's like become one of us if you want to live.
But at the same point, it's really going to depend on what caused what happened at his hotel. Like if what happened was because of us.
Oh, it was.
I
I mean,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was too.
it looked like a crater hit just one side of the wall.
So
And he said impossible things. So, that's
so
like
I
a two
think it's really going to
and a
depend on
two.
how he
I'm looking at four.
he sees the outcome of whether or not, it's, I don't know. It can go one of two ways, that's for sure. So I'm gonna try and make it go our way, but there's a big chance that his whole family getting killed in this, that may go entirely against our favor, regardless of whatever we try to do. So
we will certainly find out what happens next week.
On next week's
As our
adventures.
chronicle continues.
Right. Well, I want to thank Knox and Zach and Martha for being with me tonight. I'm Pixie, of course. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out in chat and lurking. I should see you guys tomorrow for City of Heroes, as usual. And everybody have a great night. And thanks for being with us. We'll see you later. Bye.